Hey everyone, thank you guys for joining. We're very excited to give you guys our webinar on customer loyalty. We're going to give people a few minutes to log on, so hang tight and we'll get started shortly. Okay, great. Well, I think we're going to get going here. So again, thanks again for joining Annex Cloud and Oracle NetSuite here for our webinar focusing around Annex Cloud's loyalty solution and also how we are working with NetSuite. So just a quick housekeeping item. This is going to be recorded, so we will make sure to send this to you afterwards. Get that you guys are all busy and you might have to leave early or you might be jumping on later. So this recording will be available for you, and we will send that after the webinar has completed. And with that, I would like to introduce our NetSuite channel rep, Ben Roberts.
Thanks, Israel. Hello, all, and thanks for joining. I'd like to kick things off here. My name is Ben Roberts. I'm a principal here on the Suite Cloud Developer Network team at NetSuite. I spend most of my time developing our commerce partner ecosystem, which means it's my job to find the right technologies that will help NetSuite customers who sell B2C. With that, I work closely with Annex Cloud and their suite to improve merchants' ability to engage with their customers and grow their businesses. Annex Cloud made it extremely easy for NetSuite users to leverage their complete loyalty cloud. We verified several of their integrations that empower NetSuite customers with both loyalty, referral marketing, as well as user-generated content solutions for the omnichannel. Speaking of omnichannel, they're the only BFN-verified loyalty solution for SCIS today. So you can find all of these Suite apps listed on suiteapp.com. I recommend checking that out after the call. My experience with Annex Cloud, from the technology to the team, I can't say enough good things about them, so I'm really excited to introduce them today and hand it over to Greg Bauman to share more about their solution, the power of NetSuite and Annex Cloud together, and I think they're going to end with some live customer success stories. So Greg, all yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, like Ben mentioned, my name is Greg Bauman, and I am the Director of Channel Partnerships and Alliances here at Annex Cloud, and I work specifically with Ben and the NetSuite team. And like Ben mentioned, we're very focused on investing in the NetSuite ecosystem and making sure that we're offering a solution that not only makes the NetSuite products more powerful, but helps you all as retailers and merchants grow your business through our marketing channels. With me as well is our head of partner integrations, Harish Parikh, and he will be talking in a little bit, just in more specific technical terms, about our integration specific to NetSuite, so you can get a little bit more of a sense of the technical side. So our agenda today, for those of you that are still a little bit unfamiliar about Annex Cloud, we're going to talk a little bit about our company and the different types of solutions that we offer and how we help merchants. Then we're going to dive a little bit more into the NetSuite specific integrations in terms of how we connect to the different NetSuite products. And then we want to dive into a little bit more thought leadership and just kind of talk to you about what we're seeing in the loyalty space and some of the new initiatives that you might want to think about as you're starting to build out some of these loyalty programs. We're hearing a lot about loyalty right now, so I think now is the perfect time for you guys to get a sense of some of the tactics that you guys should be thinking about. And then we'll also dive into some case studies, some of which are NetSuite customers, in terms of the success that they're seeing with our solution. And then from there, if anyone has any questions, we'll try to answer that, and then we'll be done with the webinar. So first, just a little bit about Annex Cloud. So we've been around for about 9 years, and we're headquartered in Los Angeles. We also do have a development office in India, so we are worldwide. We've also been a NetSuite partner since 2016, and again, we have really in the last couple of years invested a lot of time and resources into making sure that we're building products that are going to heavily benefit NetSuite customers. We work with over 250 global customers. We have over 170 employees, and we also generate 2 billion application clicks a month, and that's a very unique stat for us. And essentially what that's saying is that our customers are seeing their consumers engage with our platform 2 billion times a month. Now that could be engaging with the loyalty platform or submitting a review or referring a friend or any type of touch point, but it just kind of shows the engagement level that our clients are seeing their customers with when they're on the site. And so Annex Cloud, we like to call ourselves, we're a unified customer marketing platform. And we really want to focus on the word customer, because at Annex Cloud, we feel that your customers are your best marketing resources to bring in that next round of qualified customers and prospects to help grow your business. And we do that with a few solutions. So the first one being our referral marketing cloud. So we power a solution that offers the capabilities to do refer a friend programs, influencer management. So if you have a lot of brand ambassadors or brand influencers and you want to track the type of revenue or engagement that they're driving to the brand, we can help monitor that for you. And we also can power any types of contests and sweepstakes that you might want to look to do with your business. The second area where we help is our user-generated content cloud. And I know sometimes user-generated content can be a fairly general term. So when we look at user-generated content, we're looking at in a few areas. One is visual commerce. So anyone that is posting photos of your products using hashtags that you want to track, we can curate those photos that people are using on social media, and you can ask to have those be used on your site to have more of those user-generated photos on product pages or the website. We also offer ratings and reviews. So if you're looking to get different product reviews and star ratings and different types of information that you want to get from your customers, we also power our ratings and review solution. And what goes hand in hand with ratings and reviews is also questions and answers. So if you wanted your customers or your potential customers to ask you questions and you wanted to help answer those questions for them, or have your own customers answer those questions, our solution gives you the opportunity to provide that type of sophistication. And it's very great in terms of offering more brand trust, allowing your customers to sort of speak for your brand. But the core part of our platform is our loyalty cloud. And so depending on the type of merchant that you are, we can offer a variety of different kinds of loyalty programs. So if you're just an online merchant that's B2C, no in brick and mortar stores, and you just want to power a loyalty solution on your site, we are able to power that for you. On top of that, if you do have a website presence, but you're also selling at a bunch of brick and mortar stores, and you want to make sure that you provide a loyalty program that allows people who are purchasing in the store to take advantage of the loyalty program on the website and vice versa, we offer omni-channel loyalty as well. We also offer what's called social and behavioral loyalty, and we're going to dive a lot deeper into that when we get into the thought leadership component. But what that means is that our referral marketing and our user-generated content clouds can actually integrate into our loyalty platform. So now you can know that now you don't have to just incentivize based on purchase behavior, but also emotional behavior. Rewarding people for doing things outside of buying your product and being able to engage with them in between the buying cycle allows you to drive more brand loyalty for your customers so that when they are ready to buy, they're more likely to come back to you. And that's where the social and behavioral loyalty comes into play. We also offer paid membership loyalty. So this, the easiest example of this is Amazon Prime. So if you have a very loyal customer base that's going to stick with you no matter what, maybe they're willing to pay for some type of membership program that gives them even more benefits than some of your more general customers. We also offer coalition loyalty and gift card solutions as well, and manufacturer loyalty, which is not on here, but we will be talking about that a little bit later. So specific to NetSuite, we wanted to talk about some of the key verticals that we tend to do very well in. And we do have customers that span all different kinds of verticals, but to really narrow it down, fashion and apparel is always going to be a very big vertical for loyalty programs. And we see a lot of success with fashion companies. Even home and garden is another big one. So that's always going to be a big one from a loyalty perspective. We also do a lot with distribution and manufacturers. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but there's a huge opportunity in the distribution and manufacturer space where maybe they don't necessarily feel like a loyalty program is beneficial, but we have a lot of different ways where we can start to capture some of that third-party data that maybe you're not used to getting and incentivizing people through a loyalty program to get them to come back and buy directly from you in the future. We also do a lot with B2B companies. So historically, loyalty has only been considered more of a B2C program, but we're seeing a lot more B2B companies looking at unique ways to offer incentives for their wholesalers, for their sales team, for the companies that they might be selling to. So B2B is another area where we're seeing a lot of success. And then lastly, I just wanted to say the overall NetSuite ecosystem. And Ben talked about it a little bit earlier, but we are very unique in terms of the types of integrations that we've developed for NetSuite customers, especially with SCIS. So we really feel like we're going to be a good fit for anyone that is looking to use one of the NetSuite products and they want something that's going to seamlessly integrate into their ERP or their e-commerce platform and provide a loyalty or a UGC experience that's going to be very streamlined. So now the NetSuite integration. So first off, what we did want to say is we do integrate with a lot of different types of e-commerce platforms, POS systems, email service providers, as well as CRMs and ERPs. So we do tend to be a little bit agnostic when it comes to these spaces. So maybe you're using NetSuite ERP, but you're also on Magento or Shopify Plus. We're able to help you out where if you are using NetSuite for one area but a different vendor for another area, we will be able to help integrate those solutions into some of those other platforms. But for specific for today, we do want to talk a little bit more about the solution that we've provided for NetSuite. And so we do integrate into not only the ERP, not only SuiteCommerce Advanced, but also SuiteCommerce In-Store. And as Ben mentioned, we are the only loyalty provider currently working with NetSuite that can integrate into their POS system. So again, if you are someone that's looking for an omni-channel experience, something that's going to provide a good experience for your customers, that's streamlined, Annex Cloud is going to be an incredible solution for you to evaluate as you're looking at some of these solutions. And with that, I'm going to let Harish talk a little bit more about the integrations.
Thanks, Greg. So we have fully integrated our platform with the SuiteCommerce Advanced. So for all the customers who are using SCA for their web front end, the way it's not only the loyalty for the SuiteCommerce Advanced. All of our products, including ratings and reviews, refer a friend, Q&A, and the user-generated content, which includes the visual commerce module, they are included in all of the recent flavors of NetSuite SCA. And they are the extensions, so we simply pass on the extensions to the customer or to the NetSuite SI, and they install these extensions. It's pretty easy plug and play that works. For ERP and the SuiteCommerce In-Store, we have the updated NetSuite bundles, and that bundles we basically push it out to the customer's account, and then they install the bundle, and then they do a simple configuration. With that simple configuration, the ERP integration with the NX Cloud loyalty and the SuiteCommerce or the SCIS integration with the loyalty gets enabled. So the SCIS integration will give them a flexibility when a customer is walking in the store to, if they are not already signed up for the loyalty program, they would be able to sign up. The sales rep in the store would have them sign up, or they can, if they are an existing loyalty member, they would be able to, just review their or tell the customer their loyalty information if the customer does not have it handy. And for all the transactions, as these in-store transactions are happening, they would see that their loyalty, the points balance is getting updated in real time. And lastly, they would also be able to redeem the points or the coupons for all the in-store purchases. Now, all the commerce transactions as well as the in-store transactions will flow into the ERP. And one other thing that our ERP integration brings to the table, if there are certain transactions that originate out of the NetSuite ecosystem, they would be sent over to NX Cloud loyalty platform so that the customer can be rewarded for those transactions, which didn't originate either through SCA or through SCIS, but maybe through some other sales channel. So that the bi-directional integration is built in for all of the three NetSuite products. Next slide, please. So for all the resources are available, if you go to nxcloud.com NetSuite, you will be able to get additional details about these integrations. We are certified and listed in the NetSuite marketplace, and here's just a screenshot for some of our products, which are you can search them in the NetSuite marketplace and get more information about it. Okay, Greg, back to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Harish. So before we get into the thought leadership component, just want to talk a little bit about some of the pain points that you might be thinking about with your own business and where Annex Cloud could potentially help you there. So, where loyalty really helps brands is from a retention perspective. So if you're looking to retain that customer base or increase their frequency of purchase, those are areas where, if those are goals of yours, you might want to start looking at a loyalty program if you haven't done so already. Also, if you're struggling to know much about the customers that might be buying from third parties that you're selling to, again, from a manufacturer perspective, loyalty could be an interesting way to see if you can try and capture some of that information. Also, if you're a brand that doesn't want to give discounts, or you're trying to minimize the amount of discounts, loyalty is a great way to build connections with your customers without having to necessarily rely on some of those discounting strategies. From referral marketing, we're really looking at this from an acquisition perspective. So if you're trying to drive more qualified traffic to your site, referral marketing is certainly a channel that you should consider. Paid search and paid social media, all that stuff, is SEO, still incredibly important. But as we all know, that can be a little expensive. And referral marketing can be a pretty cost-effective way to drive qualified traffic to the site. Again, these are potentially some of your most loyal customers recommending their friends and family and colleagues. So they're more than likely going to be a little more qualified coming into the funnel, and there's more of an opportunity for them to become a loyal customer because of who's referring them. Also, if you're looking to identify different types of brand advocates or brand influencers, referral marketing is a way that you can start to see which ones of your customers are really talking about your brand. And then lastly, going back to all those different acquisition channels, if you're looking to lower that acquisition cost, referral marketing is certainly an area to consider. And then finally, with user-generated content, this is where we're focusing more on converting. So if you're driving a lot of good traffic, but you're not seeing the type of conversion rate that you are expecting, sometimes user-generated content can be a great way to drive those conversions. I know that when I go on and shop and I look at different products, one of the first things that I look at are the reviews and what are people saying about these products. And if it's a good review, I might be more inclined to buy that right away instead of holding off and continuing to browse other sites. Also, if you're looking to engage in new and unique ways with your customers, trying to ask for that user-generated content, whether it's a photo or a review, is a great way to drive that engagement. And then wanting to improve the overall customer experience and also build trust with your customers and with your potential customers. I think it's about 60% of all sites that use some type of user-generated content are going to have a higher conversion rate because of it. So it's incredibly important that you have this type of content, because at the end of the day, the customer is going to trust the customers that are using your products. So it just gives you a little more brand equity with your customers as they're looking to evaluate you and buy your products, or if they're looking to come back and buy from you again. So now let's get into an overview of loyalty. And so what I want to we hear a lot about this term, new age of loyalty, and essentially what that means is this is sort of the next phase of your loyalty program. Now, if you already have a loyalty program, or if you don't have one and you're looking to launch one, what I really hope you get out of this is just some ideas and some thoughts as to what you should be looking to do to enhance your loyalty program, or if you are starting from the ground up, get ahead of the game and try and move beyond your competitors from a loyalty perspective. And so when we think about new age of loyalty, there's a few things that you need to think about. And the first one is out with the old. So historically, loyalty programs take on more of a transactional focus. I'm going to buy a product from you, I'm going to earn points, and then I'm going to use those points for discounts later on, the more points that I accrue. And while this should still be part of your loyalty program, it's just not enough anymore. You need to find new ways to incentivize your customers so that they're going to feel more inclined to engage with you than maybe looking at, going to one of your competitors and buying from them. So starting to think of your loyalty program less from a transactional perspective, but more from an emotional and behavioral perspective. Also, it's not just about you. So you need to be looking at loyalty from two different lenses. So one, you need to think about what's in it for the member. And at the end of the day, you guys are the ones that know your customers better than anyone else. So really trying to understand, what do my customers value and how can I incorporate that into a loyalty program? But then you do also want to think about, what pain points these solve for you. So what are you trying to fix? Are you trying to increase your average order value? Are you trying to increase your lifetime value? What pain points are you dealing with where a loyalty program might be able to come in and help improve those situations for you? And then lastly, lead with emotion. So in this day and age, especially with millennials and Gen Z buyers, we almost expect some type of experience when we're buying, especially online. So it's really important that as you're building out your loyalty program, that your members are seeking some type of emotional connection with your brand. Because we tend to buy more on emotion now, it's very important that if you do want to stand out from your other competitors, that you're starting to drive that type of emotional loyalty, so they are going to feel more inclined to come back and buy from you instead of going somewhere else. And so what I want to show right here is this is a chart that was developed by Bain & Company, and they identified, I believe it's like 31 different elements that customers value from a company. And what they said is that if a brand or a merchant is using over 4 of these different elements, they're going to see at least a 13% lift in their revenue versus not doing any of them or less than 4 of these elements. And the more elements that you're incorporating into your business model, the higher your revenue is going to increase from there. However, what we're seeing, especially in e-commerce, is it's becoming more and more saturated, and there are more and more direct-to-consumer brands coming into play. And so it's really important that you start to think about some of these, moving up these tiers of elements of value, because the emotional tier is actually twice as valuable as that functional level. So as you're competing for people's business, while it's still important to think about these functional elements, like making sure your integrations work and that you're offering something that simplifies things or saves time, those aren't really driving that emotional connection. And a lot of your competitors are probably doing these things as well. So in order to stand out and make a difference and get more loyal customers, we really need to start thinking about some of these emotional elements. And that's going to help you increase the likelihood that people are going to buy from you versus one of your competitors. And so what I wanted to do is just talk about 5 of these elements in that emotional tier that a loyalty program can tackle. And these are the things that you might want to think about when you're starting to build this emotional loyalty program. So the first thing is it has to be fun and entertaining. You have to give your customers a reason, even when they're not ready to buy from you, a reason to engage with your loyalty program. So what are you going to do to make it fun? Are you going to have different types of contests or sweepstakes that you're going to provide? Are there going to be different types of monthly quizzes, or whatever you think about doing? You need to think about what am I going to do to incline one of my customers to take time out of their day to engage with my loyalty program. Again, you also want to know what types of rewards are going to be beneficial to your customers. So it's not all, it doesn't have to be all about discounts. If you wanted to offer different types of experiences or access to events, if those are things that you think your customers find valuable, then you want to incorporate those types of opportunities into your loyalty program. You also might want to think about offering a badge or a tiered value. So we're all inherently competitive in some way or another. And so as we're building out these tiers, we want to find ways that our customers are going to feel incentivized to move up the ladder and go from a bronze member to a silver member. And then once they're at a silver, what am I going to offer in the gold tier that's going to really incentivize them to do what they can to move up to that gold level? And again, the farther you move them along that tiered level, the more likely they're going to become one of your brand advocates in the future. You also want to think about affiliation and belonging. So what types of exclusive experiences or VIP opportunities are going to make them feel like they are a very special customer versus those that are not going to be involved in your loyalty program? So maybe you're thinking about offering exclusive products for customers that are at a certain level of your loyalty program, where if I went onto the general site and wanted to look at certain shirts, I might not see certain shirts that are only available to people in the loyalty member, so in the loyalty program. So again, those customers can feel like they have a limited edition shirt that no one else is going to have, so they're going to feel like they're that VIP customer. And then lastly, to put a bow on all 5 of these, all of this has to come down to motivation. We've got to figure out what's going to motivate our customer to want to communicate with our brand, whether they're ready to buy or not. And if you do start looking at some of these emotional tiers of value, you're going to see improved performance from a revenue perspective. So in that same study that Bain and Capital did, they also found that highly emotionally engaged customers buy their favorite brand 82% of the time compared to 38% for those who are less emotionally engaged. So the higher that emotional engagement is, the stronger that brand affinity is going to be in the future, and the more likely they're going to buy more from you, the more likely they're going to refer their friends, and the more likely they might submit reviews and post photos talking about how much they love the brand. So driving these emotional experiences are incredibly important in terms of having a very successful loyalty program. Now, we talked a lot about what this solves in terms of the customer experience, but at the end of the day, this all has to come back to how is it going to help my problems as a brand. And so the things that a loyalty program can really help with are higher margins. So as you're retaining your existing customers, you're spending less trying to keep those customers. We've all heard the line about how it's 5 times higher to acquire new customers than it is to keep current ones. So a loyalty program is a great way to make sure that that investment that you're making in acquisition is paying off with an increase in lifetime value, which is this next bullet point. So you're going to get those repeat purchases. You can incentivize to increase that average order value, and in turn, you're going to increase that lifetime value. You're also going to be able to keep your customers engaged in between purchases. So maybe you sell a product that people only buy once a year, or maybe once every 5 years. What am I going to do to engage with them so that whenever they are ready to buy the next product or an accessory to that product, they're more likely to going to come back to me instead of one of my competitors. So keeping them engaged in between that process can be incredibly valuable. We're also looking at ways to incentivize customers without having to just go straight to discounting. So I know sometimes discount strategies can be very difficult. I also know there's a lot of brands out there that don't do any type of discounting. So being able to incentivize customers with different types of experiences is a great way to drive loyalty without having to devalue any products or devalue what the brand is about. And then lastly, you're rewarding advocacy. So by referring other customers, we see a 3 to 7 times higher conversion rate when someone is referred by a friend than if they are coming from a Google ad or a Facebook ad. And again, that's because it's coming from someone that they know, and they're also more likely to become a loyal customer because of that as well. So now I wanted to dive into some case studies. So these are all Annex Cloud customers. Alton Lane is a fairly new customer of ours. They're also a NetSuite customer. And the challenge that they had is they had a loyalty program, but their program did not offer an omni-channel experience. And so they have a lot of brick and mortar stores, people going in to try on suits. And they wanted that to translate to an online presence and try and drive more online revenue and online engagement as well. So we've put together that omni-channel program for them that's going to allow their customers to redeem their codes both online but also when they go in the store. And they're also leveraging our referral marketing as part of that. So they're incentivizing people through the loyalty program to refer people to an Alton Lane store. And already they've seen a 60% increase in their referrals. And they're on track to get to about 130% to 150% of their referrals that they had last year by the end of this year. So they're already seeing a lot of success when it comes to more of that emotional loyalty program. We also work with Olympus Camera. This is a really good example of a company that might only sell a camera to someone once in their lifetime, maybe once every couple of years. So their challenge was that as a company, they wanted to have a brand where they could really expand their advocate marketing and help drive that with their loyalty program. And so what they did with this is they put together their own user community on the Olympus website, where they incentivized people to take photos with their Olympus camera and post them to the Olympus site and earn loyalty points every time that they post a photo to Olympus. What they also did on top of that is they had different types of contests. So they have a monthly hashtag where people have to take photos based around that hashtag. They pick a winner every month for the best photo. And this goes back to providing a fun and entertaining loyalty experience. And so what they were able to do was drive a 2,000% increase in photo uploads since the start of the gallery. So they have so much more of that user-generated content through our visual commerce solution that when people go and check out all these photos, they can actually click on the photo, and then on the photo, they can see what camera was used, what lens was used, and then they can click on that and it'll take them directly to the product page. So they're using this as an acquisition tool as well. The other thing is whenever they are ready to buy that next camera or that next lens, because they are engaging in this community, they're more likely to come back to Olympus because they're building these points and all these experiences and incentives through the loyalty program. They're more likely to come back to Olympus for that camera holder or that lens than they are Nikon or Canon or any of their competitors. Sugarfina is another customer of ours. They're also on NetSuite. And similar to Alton Lane, they also needed that omni-channel experience. They wanted to leverage a technology that could power things in-store as well as online and provide a very positive customer experience for when they're at the store. And so they're an example of a customer that has implemented a tiered rewards loyalty program. So by offering that tiered program, they're in turn getting a higher average order value, a higher volume of purchases because of the fact that they're encouraging people to do so to get to those higher tiers. And the benefits that they put in there to get to those tiers were benefits that their customers find incredibly valuable, so it's worth it for them to try and get to that silver or that gold level. And while I'm unfortunately not able to talk about any specific numbers with Sugarfina, we did just find out recently that Loyalty 360 named Sugarfina as the Loyalty Award winner for CX strategy for a brand. So we're incredibly happy for them and excited for what they've been able to do with their own loyalty program. And then lastly, Brayola, so a fashion brand that was really looking to boost customer retention and, again, fight off competition from better-known brands. Again, people, especially in fashion, have a lot of options when it comes to different types of clothing items that they might be able to purchase. So they really wanted to do this through referral marketing. So they put together this loyalty and referral marketing program that has really helped with their retention and their advocacy. They've seen a 24% increase in purchase frequency. Their acquisition has grown 24% because their loyal customers are driving more referrals and they're rewarding those customers for it. And they've already seen an increase in their monthly sales growth as a result of that. So the last thing I wanted to cover today, I've talked a little bit about manufacturing loyalty. And I know especially within NetSuite, there are a lot of manufacturers that are using NetSuite products. And it can be a challenge when you're selling to a lot of third parties, when you're selling to Amazon, you're not getting that data. You're not knowing who those customers are. And so what we've put together is a manufacturing loyalty program that can help drive some of those customers that are purchasing on those other sites and getting them to come back to the site. So, and the way we do that is through our receipt data aggregator. So this is a way where you can incentivize your customers that are buying on Amazon, that are buying at Walmart, that are buying at Home Depot, or wherever they're buying by taking a photo of their receipt and then uploading it to the site. And when they do that, they can earn loyalty points for that. You can get them to become a part of your loyalty program. They're giving you most likely an email address for submitting it. So now not only are you getting an email address to be able to start messaging to them, you're also getting that purchase data that you've never been able to get from an Amazon or a Walmart before. So you can really start to personalize your messaging right off the gate and incentivize them to come back to your site and build that brand loyalty instead of them constantly going back to Walmart or Amazon to purchase. We all know Amazon is really not a place to drive brand loyalty because people are going there because it's easy. It tends to be the least resistance when it comes to purchasing a product. So this is your chance to try and capture some of that Amazon purchase data and start that conversation with them by driving them to your site. So to me, this is a huge differentiator. If you are a manufacturer and you're looking to find ways to drive loyalty with customers that aren't purchasing directly from you, this type of receipt data aggregator is something that you guys should be thinking about. It also gives you a chance to provide flexible loyalty incentives. You can reward customers while you're keeping compliant with MAP pricing policies. And again, you can do that social and behavioral loyalty. You can start to engage with your customers in between the purchase cycle. And now this might start out as just 1% of the data to start, but it might, the more you start to message it and market it to your customers, that might move up to 4, 5, 6% of people that are starting to drive their receipts. And that's so much more data that you're going to have, and it's going to help drive more of that loyalty that you're probably looking for. So really important that we stress the receipt data aggregator. If you are a manufacturer, there are ways that you can still have a successful loyalty. If there are any questions, we'd love to answer those. And again, my email is right here. Thank you so much for letting us talk to you again, and we're really excited to continuing to engage with you in the future. So it looks like we do have one question. How much time is required to implement it on my e-commerce channel? So that's a very good question. Harish, I'm going to let you dive into that a little bit. I'm assuming that they mean their e-commerce platform, if that's correct. If not, go ahead, Harish. Why don't you take that one?
So just wanted to make sure that when we say it's on the e-commerce channel, we're talking about the NetSuite SCA. Now, if it is the NetSuite SCA, we have a built-in integrations that, of course, can be customized by the SI or by the customer's team to meet their look and feel and the need. It takes 6 to 8 weeks for all the activities to complete from end to end. So say from start to finish. With the built-in integration, it's in less than 8 weeks they can be live.
Perfect. Thank you, Harish. It looks like that might be the only question that came in. Again, this is recorded, so we will make sure to send these slides out. We'd love to chat with you a little bit more if you had any specific questions to your company in terms of how we can help. Again, I just want to give a special thank you and shout out to Ben Roberts and the NetSuite team. We're very excited to work with all of you, and thanks again for your time.